against women start with words. It's the way that men and women talk to each other every day. The conversations that men and women have shape how men treat women, and this can cause violence. We hear these conversations all the time, like the small comments from men. I asked people what they think about microaggressions from men, so let's see what they had to say. Have you ever experienced small comments or actions from men that made you feel like your feelings and thoughts just didn't matter at all?
Definitely. I think especially when I was in university, in tutorials, there would definitely be situations where you would say an idea or give your thoughts on something, and then about 5 minutes later, a boy in the class could give the same idea, maybe rephrase it slightly differently, and get like maybe a better response.
We're girls and we belong in the kitchen to make sandwiches and things like that.
With our course, we do a cookery course as well.
Yeah, and it's like, we're not cooking out here to cook for you, we're cooking out here to cook in 5-star restaurant.
Have you ever felt uncomfortable in a conversation because of gender differences?
I think I've been quite lucky to not have that much experience of it, but I've definitely been speaking to men when they've brought up that they enjoy watching people like Andrew Tate, and I don't judge them for that, but definitely it does make me kind of question how they think about me.
Some conversations may seem harmless, but they're really not. Let's have a look at a conversation that could take place between a girl and a boy.
Yo, Mars.
Hi.
Why are you wearing those clothes? Why are you wearing men's clothes?
Because this is what I'm comfortable in.
But you're a girl, you should be wearing women's clothes.
I don't see why that's your problem. I should be able to wear whatever I want.
Okay then. Anyway, did you hear about what happened at the bus stop? Did you hear the attack?
Yeah, it was horrible. I walk home that way every day.
Yeah, I know, but still, why is she even out late at night? And if she is, why didn't she just take a taxi home?
You do know not everyone's able to get a taxi.
Yeah, but still, why is she out late at night? Why isn't she not at home with her family?
So now it's her fault that she got attacked.
Listen, I'm not condoning the attacks, but maybe she should be more smart than going out late at night.
Yeah, bad things happen because of the guys that do them, not because women try and live their lives.
Listen, you can't always keep blaming men. You realise that women always do wrong as well.
The focus is always on us as women. Why can't men just not be creeps?
Listen, that's not going to happen. There's always going to be creeps and pervs out there.
Exactly. Just let us live our life. You guys can control it. Just,
You realise I'm just trying to help you. And if you don't want my help, girls like you will always get attacked at night, and it's your fault.
The boy's response, "I'm just trying to help," shows how ignorance can take place in a conversation. The boy is focusing more on his advice rather than what he's saying. It's common in conversations like this where the man shifts the responsibility onto the woman, telling her to be careful, but he overlooks the complete issue on why she's in danger in the first place. Often the focus is on women and how they should protect themselves, not the behaviour of men and how society raises them. It's easy for men to remain unaware of how their words and actions disrespect women. The boy saying, "You're not making sense," highlights how he doesn't realise the everyday microaggressions that women face just from men's small comments, because it's not their reality. But these are the moments that need to be challenged. It's about changing the way that everyone thinks and behaves. The main point here is that these type of conversations between men and women aren't just simple disagreements. They how people behave in society, and a bigger issue in society. Men need to actually listen and think about what's being said and be open to changing how their mindset is. It's not enough to just not be part of the problem. Men need to actively call out against these behaviours and words, because these all play a part in violence against women. Change starts when men become more aware of how their words and actions affect women. I asked some boys to share their thoughts on masculinity and the pressure to act like a man. I also told them to share some stories where they felt like they were pressured to stick to masculine stereotypes. A lot of men don't speak openly about toxic masculinity. Most of the time it's because they don't realise that they're actually part of it. But this time they were anonymous, so let's see what they had to say.
One time I was pressured to fight a guy who I had no problems with. The guy was going through a rough time at school, which I knew about, and I decided to make his life harder when my friends pressured me to fight him. So in his own home, when all of our families gathered, I fought him. Not much happened, but he wasn't the fighting type, so I just kept going at him. I couldn't fight, and I didn't know how to fight at the time, so I didn't do much damage. But when the fight was going on, I remember the people around me cheering me on, and I felt proud of what I had done. After the fight, I didn't feel bad. In fact, I felt pride in what I'd done. But now, I think back on it, I wish I'd never done it. I did it to an undeserving person. Toxic masculinity is when someone does their best to stick to being as masculine as possible, and they just end up being closed-minded and idiotic. But healthy masculinity is expressing yourself without viewing and not being perceived as masculine as a bad thing. I think the mentality, boys will be boys, has some truth to it. However, it can be used excessively as an excuse for bad behavior, leading to a bad mindset that kids think it's acceptable to fight or cause trouble when it's unacceptable behavior.
All that pressure and all those unspoken rules, but the thoughts of masculinity are still the same. So when does it change? Well, I sat down with Wade to ask a few questions. Wade, thank you so much for joining me today. Can you please tell us a bit about yourself before we get into it?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Wade Wilson. I run X-School CIC, which is a men's mental health peer support group. I also run Luton Comic Con as well. And yeah, I'm very proud of Lutonian.
What do you guys do at your company? Just briefly.
Yeah, we specialise in peer support for men who are struggling with mental health issues such as like anxiety, depression, PTSD, a whole range of issues. But the point of the group is to try to take a little bit of pressure off from the NHS.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Really love that you're doing that with the company and stuff. So we'll get into your company a bit more and how we can relate it to masculinity and the world. But before we get into that, there's this phrase called boys will be boys. Have you heard of that phrase?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, what are your thoughts on this phrase? Because it's been used to excuse certain behaviour and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you've hit quite a good chord there, and obviously we're going to talk more about toxic masculinity in that regard. But yeah, boys will boys. I think that mostly, I think it's used innocently when it comes to, say you've got a football team and two guys kind of get into it, and people are boys will be boys, because they, the heat of the competition kind of drives up that level of aggression between guys, and I think in them terms it can kind of make sense a little bit. But then when it comes to inappropriate behaviour, that's when I think it's a little bit more serious. So when you have, for instance, a guy that's very guys that think it's okay to touch when no permission's been given, and guys that feel like it's okay to kind of coerce people or to get girls a bit more drunk, or I think that when that expression's being used in that regard, I think it's completely wrong. But then equally, is it necessary to even have the term around anymore? Because the connotation to that point is that's so bad. That on its own, I think that the term itself is kind of quite negative, and probably we should be looking to address that.
How do you think we can change that, change the stereotypes and get these people to be spoken about more? Good things.
I think it's definitely about we need more citizen journalism, firstly, because I think that the more, we've got a really good tool in social media and how we can share stories and promote positivity, and overwhelmingly I see social media as being a positive thing, and when you use your platform to speak about positive things, it only encourages it more, because people do what they see, right? If you see people getting more engagement from negative stuff, people are more likely to do that. But you see engagement from positive stories and people being actually this is quite cool and I want to be part of this change. It can be really powerful scenario.
There's also healthy masculinity. So what are your takes on that? And how do you think we can teach boys about healthy masculinity?
When I think about my personal experiences of positive masculinity is guys in groups together, right? This is why X-Force is so good, because as a peer support group, the essence of what we do is, we're all peers. It might be my company, but I'm no bigger or better than any of the guys in the room. I'm not an authority figure. I'm not coming at them and trying to tell them that I know more than them. It's a proper shared space where just ideas can emerge and people can kind of grow together, right? And it's a space that men used to have a lot, where it sounds really like stupid, but like a boys' club, like
that's not
a sign on the door that says no girls allowed.
Oh god.
I know it sounds a bit silly, but do you know what? When guys feel
need
like when you're in a space what's protected, you can just say whatever you want, and a lot of times guys don't feel like they can. And this is where that expression "men don't talk" comes from, which is a myth that I'm trying to dispel, because it's become a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Where we keep saying men don't talk.
When you say men don't talk, is that like linking to men don't cry? Like that?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. The more that we say it, the more it becomes true. So them two phrases, they just need to be kicked out of the vernacular.
I wonder how they even started these phrases. Like, it's horrible.
I think it's a generation thing.
What do you think the link is between toxic masculinity and violence against women?
When I talk to some guys who have perpetrated, right, and I speak with guys who they've been part of domestic abuse for a very, very long time. They've enacted it, or they've had it happen to them. You always come back to the same kind of thing, as this view of what women are to them, right, and their interactions with women, and a lot of the times very negative interactions. And not to put that on women at all, but but there's a lot of guys I talk to have very, very poor experiences with their mothers growing up. There's guys that had no female siblings or no female friends, so they didn't really have them relationships to understand. I mean, for me personally, having girls really made me see that, like, I was one of them guys when I was a teenager, wolf whistling and doing stuff. Yeah, I was. I'm not going to try and lie about it. I wasn't the guy that I am today. You have to grow as a person, over the course of your life. And I held very, very different views when I was a teenager to what I do now. And part of that was being around women, right? Because women are great. Yeah, you guys are the greatest teachers. No, really, really are. Because just by being around women, you start to learn so much more, not just about how to respect women in general, but also about yourself as well. And I've always said, since I had my daughters, it's changed my life, like completely changed my life. It's what made me become this person who can now connect emotionally a lot better and deeper with people, and for myself as well. So I think that definitely more education, without a doubt, more education. Educating boys from a young age is a great idea. I saw this thing on Twitter, I think, where it was like girls and how they feel as they're walking down the road. It's like a little inner monologue of this lady. It's like late at night and what she's thinking about. And I was like, I've not thought about any of the, like, it's all about danger and like, there's a man on the other side of the road. Is he gonna, like, and I've got my phone ready, and all these things that girls are thinking about that I've never thought about as a man. And I asked my daughters, how would you feel walking out late at night? And they're terrified. Oh no. Yeah, I know. And that was crazy for me, because I was like, I've never been scared out late at night. I feel fairly safe. So
it's good that these videos are kind of teaching you in a way, and to men about it. So going back to the topic of how you used to be like when you were younger, I don't know if you want to talk about that or not. But was there anything that like influenced you to act like that back then?
It's culture, without a doubt. I mean, like, when I was growing up, you had like, I mean, it's still the same now, like rap, hip hop, all of that. It's the exact same now as when I was a kid. It's so bad towards
like
women.
Music, the lyrics.
It's so bad. I like kind of started going through all my music, and I was like, I can't listen to this anymore. Yeah, I can't listen to it anymore because it's so bad. And it's like, now I understand when I was a kid, like, well, I thought it was okay because all my heroes were saying this.
The bad ones.
Yeah, they were all saying this. So it's like, so I just had to get away from it. And do you know what? I'm not trying to say to people, I sound like an old man saying this, but it's bad. It's bad for you. It's genuinely bad for you. It's bad for what it does to your brain. Listen to that on repeat.
If you can work out a balance between it, then maybe that'll be okay, I guess.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't listen to those songs, but
you're good. You're a good one.
I'm just assuming. But thank you so much, Wade, for this. It went really well. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Violence against women isn't just about the extremes. It's about the way women are spoken to, dismissed, and blamed. It's the way men see themselves and women in a world that normalizes inequality. It's the conversations we've seen, the attitudes that we've challenged, and the realities that many women face. If men start questioning and changing, the cycle can break. It's a choice that society makes every day, and it's a choice that you can start making.